All right, guys. So welcome back. Everyone, hear me fine? Let me know if the music is too loud and I can lower that as well, or if it becomes too distracting too, which I think we can do. All right. Last part, guys. Drawings. Okay, because as part of your final project, half of it is a model or half is the drawings. Okay, and do not underestimate this drawing, guys, and do not overlook the significance and the amount of detail that it's required of these drawings here. Okay. And again, the same that as with your model, right? Document your overall final drawing development progress, right? Photos, time-lapse video, Instagram stories, throughout the entire progress of the drawing themselves as well. And remember, guys, we are generating multi-view orthogonal line drawings, right? Multi-view orthogonal line drawings. Now, I have a reading right here that I think is going to help some of you guys kind of understand this better. All right, so I'll make sure to provide that for you guys over here. And somewhat simple, right? We have 3 sheets, right? 11 by 17 landscape, right? The same that you do right now, right? On each, right? I mean, or in each of us is going to be one of these drawings right here, the top, front, and the side elevation of the final model design. Now, I want everyone to use pencil for the initial sheet layout and model drawing. Now, for this, I'm suggesting that you use what's called a hard lead, right? Which is something about a 2H pencil, right? So that it gives you your pencil lines, right? I mean, it could be the grid, it could actually be the entire drawing, right, by pencil, right? Very faint, very light, line weight with pencil. Okay, start it with pencil. Of course, let's make sure that we use our architectural drawing tools, right? And this is a T-square, right? Ideally, if you have one, right? I mean, I think every architecture student definitely should have a T-square. When you buy it, it's up to you, but I think this is not a bad moment to acquire one if you don't have one, right? And triangles, because it's gonna make your life so much easier, guys. And rather than hating the assignment or dragging the assignment, I don't think anyone hates the assignment. I think there's people like, oh man, like I want to do this, but like, wow, it's a lot of work. Having a T-square or a parallel line helps tremendously, guys. Like it's like night and day, right? You actually get to enjoy the assignment. I'll show you guys right now. All right. Now we're gonna ink all final pencil outlines, right? So pencil first and then ink, right? Use a minimum of 3 ink line thicknesses. I'm suggesting that you start with 0.01, 0.03, and 0.05 in order to depict depth. Whoa, what's going on right here? Guys, what do I mean? Class, what do I mean to use line thickness to depict depth? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Can someone please, has anyone worked with this before? Have you heard about line thicknesses? Maybe we'll start there. Has anyone heard about line thicknesses? And if so, what are these line thicknesses for? No? Anyone? Anyone? Line thicknesses. So everyone go to lunch now? Tori, thank you. To show specific characteristics like material, You can, you know, I'm not going to say that that's not right. You actually do use different pen thicknesses in order to represent material, but it's not the main reason why we use line thicknesses, right? Right? Crystal, the different thickness of the walls, right? No, not necessarily, Crystal, not necessarily, right? No, because we actually are going to draw the entire thickness of the material, right? ISIS, to give us hierarchy, right? That's a little bit more like it, ISIS. That's a little bit more like it, and I'll show you guys right now what I'm talking about, okay? So let's see, we have, let's make sure that let me make sure that I come back to this one, but you're gonna need different thicknesses of pen, right? Because what we do is objects that are closer to the viewer not in place, but that should be in plane, right? Have thicker lines. And we're gonna start working with what, again, proximity and elevations are, right? There's this graphical language that we use when we are depicting elevations and when we're trying to depict depth in the elevations, right? You really don't want to use the same line thickness for everything, right? Because the idea of space, right, of depth, and I'm not talking about perspective, I'm talking about objects that are closer to me or objects that are further away from me. The way that we represent this is through line thickness, right? If we, again, you know, since Will is such a hard worker, have you guys, do you guys talk to Will? I mean, you guys should check on Will. I don't know if Will has a life, right? I mean, like, maybe his life is architecture, right? I mean, but Will is not it, guys. Like, I think he's done with graphics work. He's done with studio work. I mean, granted, I'm sure that it's not easy, right? But yeah, check on Will, guys, because you know, it's always on it, guys. Like, all right, Munoz, what's next? I'm bored already. But using Will's as an example, right? It's interesting, right? P3, DSGN multi-view. Will, let's do the following, Will. What concept is this, Will? Which model is this? Let me open that as well. Is it this one? This one? I don't think it's this one, is it? Is it the second one? I think we did the second one, right? Which is this one? I think it's this one, right, Will? I think this is the drawing of this model right here. Wendy says that Will is always on top of everything. It's inspiring. It is. It is very inspiring. You know, I mean, I'm barely just finishing assigning it, and then William is like, I'm done, guys. What are you guys talking about? But all right. I think this is the drawing for. I think this is the model for this drawing right here, and actually we can see it beautifully right here from this drawing to this drawing right here. Now, let me ask you guys this. Let's take a look at this right here, right? So on this photograph right here, the way that you see it on your screen right now, right? Can you tell me which figures are taller and sticking up more than the other forms? Can you able to see that through the photograph? Which one is the object that is further, you know, I mean, closest to me, right? Which one is it? All right, I think everyone's working. So, you know, right? The center, right? The center. So somewhere over here, this piece right here, right? Due to the shadows, right? So in this photograph, what's telling us, what's giving us the notion of depth is the context, which is the shadows, right? I mean, we're actually able to see which form and figure is closer to us, right? And of course, that's easier to see from a side view because we can be like, oh, well, duh, right? I mean, thank you, Tori, right? It's that center piece right here, this volume right there, right? So that means, right, that this form right here, it's kind of one of the most prominent line drawings that we should see, right? I mean, this box right here, right? So something like this, right? Which then we can see that, right, on the drawing, right? Now, let me ask you this though. Can you still tell that this centerpiece right here is the tallest one? Can you tell that, right, from this drawing out, right? And the answer, right, without seeing the model, of course, most likely should be a no, right? I mean, you cannot, right? I mean, you cannot tell without knowing the original model, right, which shape, right, is closest to me, meaning that, again, it's taller, right? You cannot tell, right? You cannot tell from this drawing because I don't have shadows, right? And I don't have a perspective view. So I'm not able to see that because this is not a perspective view, right? This is an orthogonal view. So there really isn't, right, a sense of a hierarchy and a sense of depth. Now, does anyone know, right, how do we obtain this depth and this detail of hierarchy on lines through drawings? And of course, you should know the answer now, right? Thicker lines for the centerpiece, right? Right, and that's correct, right? That's the answer there. So I'm going to upload this reading right here. This is the, if you're in graphics, this is, you know, the book that, you know, it's assigned for the class, and it's already there on the graphics course, but not everyone is in graphics this semester, right? But I'm gonna upload it right here under the project folder so that each of you guys can reference it, okay? This is a great reading for you guys to have, okay? So I'm hoping that all of you guys can, you know, save it and not only save it, but read it, guys. Go through it, right? This is the Architectural Graphics book by Francis K. Chink. He's a legend in architectural school, right? Schooling. Right. That looks like his center. This one right here. Sorry, is that what you're talking about? Like Williams? I didn't notice that. That's true. That is true. Good observation. Right. So this is the textbook, right? And you know, it talks about everything. You know, drawing tools and materials, right? You know, again, you're gonna get a really good insight into this. You know, T-square, how to use the T-square, triangles, all the architectural tools that, unfortunately, you know, this semester we're not able to really explore in studio, and we have to do in our houses individually, right? But if you go to right, so it talks about it a little bit here, right? It talks about heavy lines, medium lines, lines, and light lines, and very, very light lines, right? And how are these used for? So let's make sure that you check this out, page 20, right, on this line thicknesses. But the where everything comes together, right? It's actually right. So you have the architectural drawing systems. Let's move on because we want to get into our elevations from our orthographic views, right? So multi-view drawings, chapter 4, right? It actually starts with floor plans. We're not gonna do floor plans or section cuts for this project. I know, it's sad, but we'll explore section cuts and then in floor plans in design 2 next semester, right? But if we scroll down to page, wait for it, it is coming. Right here, elevations, page 80, right? Architectural graphics, right? And elevations right here, which is the kind of drawing that we're doing right now, right? It talks about depicting those, but if we scroll through towards the end, right? And this is actually kind of what we're doing right here with your volumes, right? You can see how they're actually going to like split in phases. But here it is, right? Page 88, right? It talks about spatial depth, not spatial, spatial, no, yeah, spatial, not as a space. No, it is about space. Spatial depth cues, right? Sorry, guys. This is exactly what we're talking about right here, right? So right now we have something like this or this, right? All of the components right here are using the same line thickness. And that's good in communicating the objects themselves, but in order to understand, right, I mean, which one is closer to us, right? I mean, and which one is on top of which ones, right? We use cues from the line thickness, right? So, right, it says right here, continuity of line is one, right? We tend to perceive a shape as being in front of another when it has continuity of an outline, and this disrupts the profile of another shape, right? Since the visual phenomenon relies on near objects to overlay on projecting in front of objects rather than far away, we often refer to this depth cue simply as overlap. Right? Now, by itself, overlap tends to create relatively shallow intervals of space, right? I mean, okay, so the overlaps helps me understand which drawing is in front of which one, right? But it doesn't really give much more context than that, right? So we can achieve a greater sense of intervening spaces and depth if we combine overlap with other depth cues, such as by varying the line weights of a pure line drawing. Darker and thicker profile or contour lines tend to advance and appear to be in front of a lighter and thinner outlines. In front of lighter and thinner outlines, right? So how can I fix this drawing right here? Or how can it improve that drawing? Well, again, what it's saying is that if I start working with line thicknesses, right? So for example, in this case, I start using maybe, and I'm overdoing it right here, right? So they're using a thicker line for this guy right there. I'm gonna have to freehand this one because I don't have a tool for drawing arcs, right? And then I use something that is not as thick for this one right here, right? And then lastly, for the final one, I use something that is way smaller or thinner, right? And I start doing kind of like that. And I can do that right there, and this right here, this, and this, right? So it has now, right? So this is, and usually you can call them pens, right? So this is pen 1, right? Thin, right? I go ahead and change my thickness right here. This is pen 2, right? And this is pen 3, the chunky one, right? The chancho right there, like boom, right there, right? So that's the idea. Of course, this is way overdone right here, right? I think these examples that the book is providing, they serve better, right? And then later on, we're not gonna get into atmospheric, right? Which is actually providing some sort of shading or tone to them, right? But and since we're not doing shadows on these drawings themselves, line weights is what we're going to have to rely on in order to depict depth. Okay. Now, if we go back here to the instructions of the assignment, I'm asking you guys to use 3 pens minimum. That's usually that's a start. I think usually you want to actually have 5, right? I think you actually want to use 5. And again, I ran into this set at Target, and then I realized they have it at Walmart. I really recommend it. It's really, really cool. It has not only, it's I think I mentioned it before, this is for lettering, but it doesn't matter. But it comes with 2 thick Prismacolor markers right here. So this is going to be helpful for maybe your base or maybe some other projects. But it does come with the 5 pens that I would recommend using, which is the 0.005, which is the thinnest one, to the thickest one that comes right here, which is this 0.08. Additionally, this set comes with a hard pencil, which again you should be using for your thin lines, the hard pencil. And it comes with the soft pencil, which makes darker lines, which I don't think you're going to use for this assignment, right? But I haven't even used it myself. So, and it comes with this putty eraser, which It's nice to have. And again, I was at Walmart the other day and I saw it there, I'm very happy with it, and actually bought 2 sets just in case whenever I go through this set, I have another one, because sometimes you just find stuff and you're not sure if you're gonna find it again. So I'm gonna share this one right here in the on the chat right there. But if you already have your microns, that's fine. Those are gonna work. If you already have other kinds of pens, there's the Sharpie brand and there's other brands, right? These are the Micron brand. That's fine. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you're just about to invest on this, that's a nice set right there. And a really, really good price. $15 for markers, pens, and pencils. That's not bad at all. I think the Micron set is about 25 bucks at Hobby Lobby, which is and it's just pens. So that's what you're going to be, those pens and this reading that I'm providing here for you guys, it's what you're going to use in order to develop your final ink drawing for P4. All right. And it's right here. The reference, the reading, and these are the pen and pencil set that I suggest using or acquiring. Okay. Other than that, let's make sure that we use the architectural lettering throughout. Good job on that lettering. You guys are improving your lettering, so good job. Clean, legible, and hierarchical use of lettering size throughout the presentation. I talked about that already, right? I mean, applying what we're learning in graphics. Again, titles, maybe one size, drawing title another one, and smaller components or not so important components with the smaller font size, right? Or letter size. Develop a standard sheet layout to be used in all sheets. Number and title all sheets. Use a 1/2 inch margin, right? So again, here Will is using his margin right here. All of the sheets have the same layout, so that's really good, right? Again, I think the layout could be improved upon a little bit here, make it a little more interesting. Again, applying the lessons from graphics. Title all drawings. Include the project title, class information, date, and name. Let me go ahead and elaborate more right here so that we all have the same project title. So I'll just come back to this assignment on Blackboard so you can see what the project title is going to be for all of us. Ultimate quality and craft, clean presentation, right? Careful with your ink, right? Careful when you start inking your drawing that it doesn't smear, right? And important, maintain ratios and proportions of the original model onto this sheet right here. For example, that would be maybe an observation that we make to Will as well. I think you have all of this space right here on the sheet. I think maybe, you know, I mean, and it's hard because I don't see the base, but, you know, if I was to include the base, you know, wow, that's chunky. I'd say that maybe the overall base should be a square, probably about this size right here in the entire sheet, right? Again, it's kind of like that question of like, do I have to use all of the pieces that you gave me, right? Do I have to use all of the sheet that you gave me, right, to do my drawing? Like, well, okay, so you could say that you could fill your drawing right there, but is that smart? Is that the best for the project, right? I would say that no, right? So what makes a good drawing? A legible drawing. And what makes a legible drawing? Size. Okay, so then let me maximize the amount of real estate that I give to my drawing right here. Okay, so then maybe that means that I send my title to the side and maybe I do it sideways, right? So maybe my title is right here, right? And it's actually running on this direction, right? Rather than actually running on this direction right here, right? But these are all things that, you know, you plan ahead and you decide on before you even start drawing. All right. But right now it's where everything starts, right? I was like, oh, okay, I need that. All right. Got it, Munoz. Got it. I'm on it. I'm on it. All right. And that would be it for the drawing in terms of the fast pass. Okay. Any questions in terms of the drawing requirements, the drawing tools, drawing techniques, drawing problems and issues? Negative. Okay. All right. Good, guys. Good, guys. Well, if there's no more question, guys, what I'm gonna do now, right? And again, you're more than welcome, right? And I encourage you to actually stick around. Is I'm gonna show you guys. Let's just go over how to use our T-square, right? I have a drafting board here. Okay. And I don't know if right now is the time for you to go buy a drafting board, right? I mean, it's gonna take a few days to arrive and whatnot. If you don't have it by now, and I mean, honestly, after this semester, I'm not really sure how much you're gonna use it. I mean, the idea hopefully is that a lot, and you know how to use it and you feel comfortable about using it. But it's sometimes not that easy. So I'll show you guys again how cool it is to work with a parallel line, so that maybe for the future, if you see a used one that you want to buy, you do so. Again, this just again is the difference between night and day, between enjoying the assignment and not enjoying the assignment. But since most of you guys won't have a drafting board, I'll use this table to use a T-square and show you guys how to use your parallel side right here, or edge right here. Oh, this is going to be interesting. And your triangle to create your drawings. I don't know about fast, but efficiently. All right. But so again, hopefully, maybe we're both of us are drawing right now. Maybe right now you're also drawing, working on your P3, which is cool. Or if you, Munoz, I gotta go, I gotta run, that's fine. I think I covered the most important components right here of the class. So, you're free to roam the earth. And I'll just kind of like cover this right here for the rest of you guys. All right. Would that help you guys? Kind of would that help? Kind of how like do the pencil and the ink, or nah, Munoz, you're kind of wasting your time. I got it. You know what I mean? I'm a pro. I've done this before, right? Has anyone done this before, right? Yeah, you good? Yeah. Want to see a little bit? No. Yes, it would help. Okay, Wendy. Well, like I said, I mean, you gotta go, you gotta go. If you're watching this recorded, well, up to you, follow along. And actually, there was one more comment, right, that I wanted to bring up before I get on this, okay? So the 3 cubes, right? I don't know about the inventory, because I don't know about the inventory, right? But I got this message right here, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to blast anyone, okay? So the name is irrelevant. It doesn't matter who sent this message, but I thought it was an interesting message, right? And actually, I'm kind of glad that I get these messages. It at least tells me that people are looking at their grades, they care about their grades, and people are just on top of everything, right? I mean, so I read, right? Good afternoon, professor. I wanted to know a way of fixing the assignment for the volumes, slabs, and base, because I've been putting effort all of the semester, and this assignment is my first year experience making models. I did follow instructions as indicated. I wanted to know if there's a way you can give me an opportunity of redoing it or fixing that particular grade, right? And I read that, I was like, well, okay, like I understand, but I mean, I don't think there's a reason to be so, I don't know if upset, but um, yeah, let's call it upset, right? I mean, and not upset in a mad way, but just like, oh man, like what's going on, right? There's no reason for it, right? I mean, it's an initial assignment, right? So my first thought was like, well, I mean, yeah, there's a way. I mean, you can just do better the next time, right? I mean, just learn from this one, and you still have a full other model to do. You still have a full other model to do, right? But then, thinking about it, right? I was like, well, I mean, it is their first time, and it's just that, right? I mean, there's again so much work to do, right? But I mean, tell you what, all right? Do you guys want to redo your boxes and try to make that grade up? Or do you just rather apply that and, do the final model? And, I mean, again, so do you rather fight for 10, 5, 15 points, try to save 15 points, or just do really, really well on the final model? I don't know. I mean, I think for me, I was like, well, I mean, why redo it? And then you still have to do a whole other model with different pieces. But I don't know. What do you guys think? So Vivian says, yes. What if we do both? Okay. All right. Okay. That's fine with me. I mean, again, all I want is for you guys to get better at this, and doing it again, it's more practice. It's practice. Okay, right. So Vivian says, if there's a chance to make up the grade as well, I'll go for it. Okay, all right. Well, tell you what. I mean, again, yeah, I was trying to like, well, let's think about what's ahead. I want you guys to focus on what's coming, not on the past. But if you're like, you know what, Munoz, I can handle it. Let me just redo those boxes real quick, and make up that grade, and also do a really really good job on the final one. Then I have no problem with that. Okay, so because I mean, again, for me, the most important thing is that you practice and that you improve at your skills. And if you think that this will help you, okay, no problem with it. So be it. And again, it's not mandatory. It's only if you want. And it's, because again, I do need you guys to improve on this and do better on this. And if that also helps you with your grade, then no problem with that. Okay. So I'm glad that I brought it up. You're going to see that assignment is going to reopen. Honestly, I mean, I'll give you, an entire week, right? For me, it's really not about rushing it and, okay, I need it tomorrow. But if you're going to do it, then let me give you enough time so that you have both a good study models or cubes, whatever, and then also, because you also have your 50% due next week. All right. So again, guys, I just wouldn't want to compromise the final model because you're busy doing this other work that anyway, you know what I mean, right? But thank you guys for your feedback. I will go ahead and re-upload that for those of you guys that want to make that grade up. If you're like, okay, fine, I'd rather just focus on the final one, or if I finish my 50% progress and I still have time to redo those boxes, then more happy to do so, Munoz. Then it's there for you. All right. Okay, guys. So I'm going to break this recording one more time. So if you're ready to get to work, get to work. But if you want to just hang out for like a little bit, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so, that I just show you guys some basic setups right here with your parallel line and your triangles. That's what the next video is going to be about. All right. And I'm just going to do that straight.